Hello, and welcome to Triathlon Partners' newest episode of Triathlon TV. This is Ira Koyner, the original IRA, coming right at you. And today I want to talk about income generating structured notes. Right now, I have plenty of clients and potential clients that are very reticent about purchasing the equity market at current levels. They're at all-time highs, or they have current valuations that are high, tariffs and policy out of Washington, as well as the Federal Reserve, are all valid concerns that they give me, and I empathize. And it's my job to come up with a solution on how to get them a reasonable return, given their risk tolerance and what's out there in the market. And I have to find those products, and income generating structured notes are something that they should strongly consider, right? Because what are they doing with their money otherwise? Well, right now they're putting them in money market funds or short-term treasuries, which are yielding about 4.25%, 4.5%, maybe, which is great. And it might look good on paper, but the problem is that if the Fed continues to cut rates, those rates on that paper that they're earning 4.25, 4.5 is going to drop very quickly, right? As well as equity markets at that time will also most likely go up in an accelerated fashion. We've seen this, recently in the past 2 years. Whenever the Fed looks like they're cutting rates aggressively, that's what's going to happen. So, what can they do to get a better return? Because that 4.25 isn't going to be year after year after year. It's going to be until the Fed cuts rates. Now, if you're looking for just fixed income exposure, you're better off with a MYGA, multi-year guaranteed annuity. I've talked about it before because they are yielding 5.25 to 5.5%, depending upon the time period you're looking to invest in. They're guaranteed by states because they're an insurance product, but so they definitely have that same safety that money market or U.S. bonds have. Or they should look at the structured notes, right? So the first option, you're still in the fixed income space. You're locked in at those rates. They're not going to go down, but you do have liquidity constraints that you have to keep the money in there for 3 to 5 years. But the structured notes that I've espoused and championed so far are mostly growth notes, but I really want to introduce my audience to these income generating notes. They're fantastic, right? So they work on a premise of paying a coupon on some sort of regular interval, right? And a coupon is an interest payment, and that interest payment is fixed. But what's not fixed is how many interest payments you're going to get. It really depends upon the terms of the note. So here's an example of a generic note, right? A generic income generating note. This note, we're going to say, is for 3 years, and we'll pay interest every 3 months, as long as an underlying security such as the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the Russell 2000 is greater than 70% of the initial level. So for those clients, those people out there, potential clients, fans, listeners that think, oh, the market could go down 10%. Well, this note will pay you that interest rate. They will pay you that coupon. The market goes down. So that's great, right? Now, if at any point on the specific date an interest payment is due, the value of that underlying security is greater than the initial value. So it's positive. They pay you that interest coupon, right? But they give you back your full principal. So the note no longer exists. I said it was 3 years, but nope. If this happens, the note is over. It's called, is the proper terminology. You get your principal back and you get your final interest rate payment, right? The market's going up. You're out of the note. And, so that's good. It gives you the same sort of dynamic that if you're in the money markets and they cut and you want to go into equities, well, this gives you the out just as well. Now, if at the end of if it never on the interest rate payment date closed higher than the initial level. Then, after 3 years, there are two scenarios. One, that the underlying asset is greater than 70% of the original value, right? If that's the case, you get 100% of your principal back. Keep in mind, you've been getting interest rate payments every 3 months for the 3 years, right? Or number two is very similar to all the other notes that we have. If the underlying index is less than 70%, let's say it's only worth 60%, you will only get 60% of your money. So it's the same overall exposure when you look at, well, if you have this big move, but that's not really what anyone is expecting, right? In 3 years' time, you get washed out, but you earn this extra coupon. Now, this coupon, let's just refresh. You had those number one scenario, you were in the money market funds, 4.25%, 4.5%, or short-term treasuries. You go to the MYGAs, which have some liquidity restraints, and you're up at 5.25%, 5.5%, which is much better. It defers taxes, things like that. Or these structured notes, depending upon the notes, the interest rate they pay varies between 8.25% and 13.5%. That's much higher, and when the market goes up, you're out. So there's not that liquidity restraint with the MYGAs. The same situation that you have with the money market funds, except you could be earning 4 to 9% higher per year on these instruments. Yes, if the market goes down after 3 years, that's the risk that you have to take. And we're going to cover that for who this is actually suitable for. Now, I think it's a great thing to mix in with your portfolio, so that this investment is good for someone who thinks over time equity markets will go up, but they're not certain about the immediate, the right now, next 10% move, right? Those people that want to maybe take profit on current long equity positions. But guess what? If it's in a taxable account, you're going to have to pay capital gains taxes. Long-term capital gains is between 15 and 20%, plus a 3.8% NIIT surcharge possible, as well as your state income tax, because most states tax capital gains at the income tax level. So that's quite a big cut that they're getting. If you have extra cash or you have money that you're willing to do in deferred taxable accounts, deferred tax accounts like 401ks or Roths, and you can overinvest in a structured note of those accounts versus not having to take profit in the immediate taxable accounts is a great way to balance things out. As well as those who really want to reduce the volatility of their portfolio, right? Because if you think about it, you're going to get between, in 3 years' time, if the market's 30%, more than 30% down, or anywhere up to positive, you're getting an interest rate that's over twice as much as what's in the bond market, right? That's a very big swath of movement and outcomes. You're getting twice the return with such a wide swath of outcomes. That's a very much higher return for the volatility that's going to happen. So it's going to be a little bit higher than the fixed income volatility, but the return is twice as much. The volatility is not going to be twice as much. So that's really great. As well as if you have equities, this is going to be a much less volatility. But hey, if you're earning 8 to 9 to 10%, that's just as good as equities should be returning for you. So that's really great. As well as, please keep in mind that there are a ton of varieties of these income notes, right? So this is just one example of a generic note, but please give us a call and contact us because I can find one that's right for you. So because our role at Triathlon Partners is to engage, educate, and empower our clients, is to equip them to execute with knowledgeable and confident decisions that best meet their financial objectives. Please read the disclosure in the comment section of the video and have a blessed day. Again, this is Ira Koyner, the original IRA. Contact us. Our information is right behind me. Take care.